He also talked to Ben Shapiro about what it would look like to cut government bloat, and not necessarily in the Department of Defense, but even somewhere like the IRS, for example, or the Department of Ed. It's very interesting how he's a cutthroat kind of guy when it comes to this. But you know what? I think that's exactly what is needed at this point, because we're so overblown and so government heavy. But this is what he said to Ben about the bloat.
First of all, across the government writ large, I mean, I think you got to get arbitrary. If you want to get so big, you got to get arbitrary. Something like if your social security number ends in 7, 4, 2, or 6, you're fired. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. We can fill your slot. You're replaceable. Like, we're at that point where we just need a massive shrinking of the size of the government. When it comes to the DOD, don't worry about what their nickname was when they were in the military. You know, what was it? Mad Dog, Mad Ass. So as much as I love Donald Trump, that was very much a pitfall of the beginning of his administration. Who are the people that truly believe in America first, that truly believe in unleashing our warfighters, that reject every aspect of DEI, not the whole like, well, you know, we do diversity, but we're not really, no. We're out of this whole game. We only want lethality and meritocracy. That's it. And then so what's key is not that person. You'll have a figurehead there at DOD that does that. It's the series of dozens of underlings who have to be just as committed and understanding everything that's being peddled and pushed to help recommend everybody that you fire. I mean, mass firings at the general officer. Were you involved in pushing that? Okay, you're fired. Were you involved? And fine, pick 5 or 6 symbolic firings of generals. Well, guess what happens at some level there? The whole incentive structure changes for these. You know, they're politicians wearing camouflage at many levels at that level.
Yes,
they're going to start to return back, I would think, for many of them, to what they really were supposed to be doing in the first place. Oh, the incentive is having more ammo and more training, not more diversity trainings. How about we do that? I do think it's the type of institution that can turn differently than, say, a Department of Education, which we should just get rid of completely. Or if you weren't going to get rid of, you couldn't pull the roots out fast enough or hard enough. Because I think the core of that Pentagon would be with all of those moves.
Yes, changing the incentive. Lethality and meritocracy. Because those guys are absolutely politicians at that level. They totally are. Oh my God, we've seen it. I have friends that are that. You know what I mean? And when they get to that level, they are that. If you change the incentives, they will change with those incentives. They will change because they're like this. What are we supposed to do, sir? What are we supposed to do to get the next appointment? What are we supposed to do? Don't get mad at me for saying it. That's what they do. And he is brilliant, Luke. He absolutely is. And yes, he does have 7 kids. Because wouldn't you have 7 kids with him if you were married to him? I mean, let's get real, ladies.
And his wife is gorgeous. I mean, it's just like this impossibly perfect looking family.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God. Ridiculous, you guys. Ridiculous. One more quick sponsor note, and that is about our friends at Birch Gold. So right now you can get a free information kit, which has always been the case, right? Like when you use code CHICKS at 989898, when you text the word CHICKS to 989898, you've always been able to get the free information kit, which is super, super awesome. But right now, on top of that, you can get a free 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 that you either transfer or convert over into a Birch Gold IRA. That's kind of amazing. So for every $5,000 that you consider transferring over or converting into precious metals with Birch Gold, you get a free 1-ounce silver eagle. That is awesome. And so if it's something that you've thought about, but you've never really understood how the process works, there's nothing out of pocket on this, you guys. It's so easy and it makes so much sense. And the information kit from Birch Gold is so easy to understand. So just grab a copy. There's no obligation. They're not going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. They just want you to understand. And you will as soon as you look through this kit. Text the word CHICKS to 989898. Now, here's an interesting thing about Pete Hegseth's nomination that was pointed out by Cernovich. He said his name did not leak to the media in advance of that announcement. Kristi Noem's position was first reported by CNN hours before the actual official statement from Trump came out. You might want to find the OPSEC weak link start there.
Interesting.
And I thought that is super interesting that was leaked well in advance of the official statement. What is that?
I don't know, but they may want to find that. Yeah, they may want to find that. That is very, very interesting. We have to kind of keep track of which ones are leaking early and which ones aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. And that made me
follow the dots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And is the leak, and I'm not, listen, I don't know, but like, should we be worried about Corey Lewandowski? Because I know she has had a relationship with him of sorts. There's been rumors about how the extent of that relationship.
Right.
But I mean, I just like, what's
happening there? What's happening?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. And I don't like it. Something to think about. And then, as if that news wasn't huge enough, then Trump released a statement about DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. It is happening. And hilariously, given that it is the Department of Efficiency, it is odd that there are two CEOs of it. So it's going to be Elon working with Vivek Ramaswamy.
I'm dying over this, you guys. You have no idea. I've waited 16 years for this. Ever since Mock and I started Chicks on the Right. This is what I'm most excited about. It's seriously, am I not? Like, it's always been about economics for me. That's been like the number one thing. There's a lot of other things that are peripheral, but when it comes to this, they're like a bloated tick. Somebody needs to pop it. Seriously, so bloated. And finally.
And this isn't something that would be, at least I don't think, it's not going to be an official agency where these people would need to be confirmed. This is going to be completely separate, but still very, very important. In fact, Donald Trump is calling it potentially the Manhattan Project of our time. So he said, and like as if he was describing you, Trump wrote, Republican politicians have dreamed about the objectives of DOGE for a very long time. To drive this kind of change, the Department of Government Efficiency will provide advice and guidance from outside government.
Thank you,
and
Jesus.
will partner with the White House and Office of Management and Budget to drive large-scale structural reform.
And create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before. Yes. I mean, this is like, you remember when in Harry Met Sally where she's like doing the orgasm? Remember? We're all doing that. Are we all doing that right now? We're all having a Meg Ryan orgasm right now over this. Seriously.
And it gets even better because he also wrote that they are going to drive out the massive waste and fraud which exists throughout the $6.5 trillion budget or $1 trillion of government spending. They're going to work together to liberate the economy and make the government accountable to the people. And the best part was when he said this work will finish. It's going to conclude no later than July 4th, 2026, our 250th birthday.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just like, I love everything about this so much.
It. July 4th, 2026. How much do you guys love that? How much do you love it?
It's amazing.
God.
Pace Border said, I'm hard.
I know, right? You should be. So freaking great.
Oh my gosh. And then of course Elon put out the new government logo, the government efficiency logo.
It's fantastic.
Which is perfect. If you're listening and not watching, it's at the 53:22 mark of the show. So be sure to see it. Vivek now, because of course we talked about yesterday that DeWine of Ohio was thinking about using Vivek to replace JD Vance, but Vivek said, this means I'm withdrawing myself from consideration for the pending Senate appointment in Ohio. Whoever DeWine appoints to JD's seat has some big shoes to fill. I will help them however I can.
Vivek and Elon together. You guys, I
know.
We all just need to take a moment. Like, I know it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in Texas, but I mean, I would actually like to have a drink. Like that's how, and I don't really even drink. That's how excited I am about this, you guys. So great.